Today we are looking at a rapper named Snoop Dogg. Oh my gracious, one of my favorite friends out there in the universe. Of all the many people that we could do a chart on, I decided to look at Snoop Dogg today and look at his Bazi Chinese astrology and his forecast for 2024. Welcome. This is Lydia with Kharma Khameleon. On the Feng Shui and Bazi Chinese astrology channel, we often cover the astrology of famous people to better understand our own lives and our own charts. So welcome. If this speaks to you, please subscribe and follow as we build our community through this coming year. So I love one of the things that Snoop Dogg has said is that sometimes a loss is the best thing that can happen because it teaches you what you should have done the next time. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that there are people in the world who have some really hard lessons to learn. And certainly he has. His life has not been easy. And in fact, you know, the life of a black man in America in and of itself is a challenge, right? And I'm not going to go into racism right now, but when you look at the arrests that happened in his life, the journey of his life, you can't help but recognize that if he had been a white man, would these same things have happened? Would he have been treated the same way? And why is it that we can't respect someone for simply being a person on this earth? You know, and I think that it is so important to recognize the equality, the unity that we have globally when we are able to see that we are all living, breathing, feeling, giving, suffering, celebrating, gorgeous human beings. And he has had such a rich life. I find his very relaxed, easygoing, humorous approach to life, something that I love to bear witness to and to watch him, whether he's with Martha Stewart cooking something up, or he's on, you know, a late night show, or he's rapping. He is an incredible talent. Let's look at his Bazi Astrology. So he is born October 20th, 1971, the hour of 17:20. And yes, I printed this one out for you to see. I always take lots of notes about a person's history and their life to better understand the whole journey. And the cool thing is that when you get down into the lux cycles are amazing because when, according to Bazi Astrology, we go through 10-year lux cycles. They're not necessarily lucky. And they have an animal and elements attached to them that impact your chart. If it's elements that are needed, if it's an interaction that's bringing positive qualities, that's awesome. But a lux cycle can actually bring in the components to end a life. It can bring in components that suggest this is when you're more likely to be arrested. This is when you are more likely to be in trouble with the law. It can say this is your time for taking off in your career. And so that's what I wanted to do today as an understanding of our own charts, is to look at these lux cycles for Snoop Dogg to better understand how a lux cycle can impact somebody's astrology and in so doing impact their life journey. Let's get into it. So he's born the year of Yin Metal Pig. So obvious. He is such a pig. Oh my gracious. easygoing, gets along with everybody. He's got that vibe, that total vibe of pig quality. Love it. The month of Yang Earth Dog. There we go. You knew there had to be a dog in there for Snoop Dogg, right? Falls in his month pillar where his parents are, and get this, his life pillar. The reason he is here living this life, learning the lessons he's learning, is a Yang Earth Dog. I know, you can't make this stuff up. The guy's own his own nickname speaks to his life pillar. It's why he's here, to be the dog, though I've never seen it so literally taken. But what a thing, right? Then we have a Yang Earth Tiger for his day. That speaks of all the stops, starts, all the jumps that he made from different recording studios, the stops and starts of jumping into different, to acting, into music, into this, into that, NFTs, whatever. He's got it all going on. And the tiger is notoriously independent, really in his own lane, doing his own thing. Then we have his hour, which this has come up so many times when we are looking at musicians. The rooster always seems to be showing up. So the rooster in his hour really says that his career is about being on stage, being seen, being heard, this big ass personality, which is him. So we're going to break this down. One of the things that I notice right away is that he has a tremendous amount of metal and a tremendous amount of earth. Now, this is a different scenario than I've seen with celebrities for a while. We often see celebrities that have a lot of their own element, very inflated, just like this one. And typically, either their ruling element or that which nourishes them is also overinflated, giving them a lot of power, a lot of resource. But that's not the case with Snoop Dogg. No. He has 44% of his own earth element with barely any fire to nourish that. Then he has almost 50% metal as what he produces creates. Very little water for money and for romance, and very little, even less, wood, which is his career. Career and relationships. So it's like there is a whole bunch of weakness in his chart. It's very tipped towards him, his world, his circle of people, and what he does with all of his talents. It also speaks to someone that has lots of children. Now we can look in a chart to see where are children for him. And sons, his sons are rooted deep in his day pillar. And because of that, that relationship is so near and dear to him. He has one daughter. She does not show up in here. At all. But we're going to break that down, because just because you don't see children in the actual birth chart does not mean that a luck cycle, or even breaking it down further, a child isn't forecasted for a particular year or luck cycle. Okay? When we look at the month to understand his relationship with his parents, knowing that his father left soon after his birth, and he and his his stepfather and his mom divorced when he was still young. That when I look at this, it's interesting because it's one of two things, and this is coming to me in this now moment, is that we're seeing Yang Earth, which is his own element. That can be one of two things. One being that his parents are his best buds, like his siblings, like we're all just so close, getting along like this. The other is that the parents, even in being there, in whatever capacity they are, that he is really parenting himself. And it could also suggest, like, if he had a sister, which I don't think he had sisters. I think he only had brothers. And there's within this, and this is mirroring his life pillar. And his life is very much about a journey of the self. Who am I? What am I here to say, to do, to experience on a soul level? And who are my people? Who are my allies? Who are my friends? Who are my brothers and my sisters? And then tucked within the dog is rebellion, is somebody that is smart and intuitive and has the guts to take leaps of faith, to do what other people don't dare to do, to use his actions to do something innovative and unique, right? And that so speaks of him. Tucked deeper into the dog is his mother. And so there is that quality, which makes me think that, yes, he might have fathered himself, but I think that his mother was a good friend, a partner, and someone who maybe showed him a little bit about how to be a unique, smart person that goes their own path in life, that is bold in that way. And also that his mother was there as a nurturing, loving person, as we all want our mothers to be. And so there is that. When again we look at his hour, we see that this is somebody who his whole career is intuitive, innovative. It is all about what he creates. It's all about taking risks, doing things that are unconventional, being rebellious, maybe reckless. We all make mistakes in life. Thing is, with famous people, everybody gets to see. I don't know about you. I don't want people to see my big mistakes. So let's break this down and look at some interactions here. This is a guy that is very smart. He's very creative. He's a natural artist. He's organized. He's got his shit together. And he's an idealist. He's like a dreamer who, and you've got to be that. You know, I think artists naturally live in an imaginary place, are able to pull from that realm of the mind in order to create what they do. That's their magic, right? And he's destined to do well in his life, to have success, to have romance and a social life and all the things, right? Such a big heart and a lot of love to share. And the other piece that I was seeing in his chart is somebody that loves life. This is someone who walks into a room and everyone turns to look at him because he has that quality of joie de vivre, and he loves beautiful things. He loves a beautiful home and everything having to do with the arts. So it makes sense that his tiger self is so enjoying all the different things that he can taste and experience and enjoy. But this is where it gets interesting, because his love of cannabis so speaks of this. You have to be careful with enjoying the good life, that the good life doesn't affect your mental, physical health. Now, I'm not going to get into a whole big deal about drugs, but I will say this. I don't consider cannabis a drug. Certainly not like cocaine or heroin. It is a medicinal plant. It always has been a medicinal plant. Cannabis, psilocybin, otherwise known as mushrooms, these are plants that for centuries were used. Some have even revealed, and you can look this up, that there was in the Bible mentioning that Jesus used cannabis and psilocybin. And this isn't this isn't a negative. This is recognizing that these plants, these natural substances, are used to allow us to get out of the ego mind and into higher consciousness, where we can commune with God, with nature, with our true self. And often, especially with psilocybin, have incredible insights, revelations. And I really hope that we get these plant medicines legalized everywhere. So we're going to now drop into his luck cycles to better understand how these luck cycles can predict what is going on in his life, which is to say, the question then is, would these things have happened if his energy in his chart was influencing it differently? And that we will never know, will we? So when we look at his first luck cycle at the age of 3, we know that his mom is probably now with the stepdad. The focus is very much on his mother. And this was a kid from ages 3 to 12, that was one smart, precocious, crazy little kid. Oh my gracious, what an energy that little boy had. And a rebellion. Yeah. So then we get into 1985, when he's ages 13 to 22. This is where things get interesting. Here we've got a full metal trio, okay, which is putting so much emphasis on his output. And this is an earth pattern chart, being born in the month of October, which is Yang Earth, which is his element. This is and this monkey is battling his own tiger self. This is a situation where I could see someone dying, okay, because there is so much metal coming in that is draining the pattern, weakening the pattern, and then battling it, right? So this feels very, very contentious time. And within this, we see that this is a focus on school, on his faith, on like the community, community support, who's there for him, like social services or something. And then you've also got that this was a very active time. He was getting into his career. There's mention of the father. There is mention of father figures, of making money, and of finding himself, getting into his lane. And there was, in this period of time, this luck cycle started in 1985, and we've got multiple instances of traffic violations, being arrested for having drugs, being arrested for having a gun in the car. There was even a murder charge, so which his bodyguard was guilty of. So there is all of this going on. Not surprising that he had run-ins with the law. Not surprising that his own life was at risk, given what I just said. We then come into another luck cycle in 1995 that is a yin wood sheep. And the sheep is now in a punishment with the dog. And this is bringing in all kinds of stress and conflicted, like a lot of situations causing him so much stress as to like be harmful to his welfare. Okay, so we've come from that luck cycle into this one. This is no easy journey into his career at all. Again, we've got traffic violations, we've got possession of marijuana, all of these things continuing to go on. And in this period, his career is taken off, he's taking on more responsibilities, he's got kids now, and he's learning himself. He's playing new roles and figuring out his persona. What is my name going to be? You know, and he played with different names. And this also mentions legal issues and the mother. So now we've come from two pretty hard luck cycles into a Yang Wood horse in 2005. Now this really shifts things at this point. We're now getting into this fiery energy, and it's a big ball of fire. So where does fire fall? This is where things start to go towards benefiting him, because the fire is feeding his earth. And we want, in a chart like this, there is no way to find balance. So the only thing to do in this circumstance, which really is a fake follow self and a fake follow offspring, because this chart is so imbalanced, you just want to support the pattern. So we want to support Earth with fire. And so this having a big fireball, full fire trio with this horse, his dog, and his tiger self is bringing a big shift to his career. A big shift. And this could come with challenge. And there is more legal stuff going on. Another mention of his mother playing a role, but a lot of legal issues and a continued journey of understanding who he is and how he fits into his life. What is the role that he's playing here? And, he began rapping in 1992. with Dr. Dre. I mean, this is someone who has sold 24 million or more albums in the United States alone, has 17 Grammy nominations, multiple awards he's won. And he jumped around to a lot of different labels. That's a very Tiger behavior. Not being able to stick with one thing, right? And even at one point buying one of the labels and then bankrupting on it and losing a few $1,000,000. You know, he went into, in this luck cycle of the horse, was when he went to Jamaica and became a Rasta. And then in 2018, when we get into the next luck cycle, he got into Christianity. This is so Tiger. It's very shifting around. It's interesting that he even was going to call himself Snoop Lion, Tiger. I mean, really, it's amazing. This guy is very in tune to the underpinnings of his own astrology without knowing it, right? So in this time of the horse, ages 33 to 42, there are more arrests, and alleges assault of a fan and all kinds of other issues. And again, this legal issue just has been plaguing him now 20 years. So in 2015, things begin to shift. He moves into a yin water snake. Still, we have snake with the fire, which is wonderful. The water brings in money, his marriage, travel, wealth. This is where things seem to really be taking off for him. But we have the tiger being punished by the snake, which is like, oh my God, can this guy get a break? Because now this is a different way that lawsuits, accidents, illness, even death can be foreseen. It's like the guy can't get a break. And there's mention of religion during this time. And this is where he became a born-again Christian and released a gospel album. I didn't know that. Did you know that? I didn't know that. He was going through a big kind of religious, spiritual awakening. He's actively creating and doing things. And now is where there is this seed of real agency with himself, of feeling very strong and confident in himself. And this luck cycle of 2015 is where he is now. His next luck cycle of the dragon begins in 2025, next year. So at this point, let's look at where he is going to be in 2024. The prediction for Snoop Dogg in 2024 is this. The yang wood is the opposite element to his own yang earth self. Okay? And this is really talking about change and redirecting his career. I'm curious to see what he's going to be doing next, because I would think that something new is going to be coming forward, that he's creating something new, something going on with his career for sure. There is a dog in his chart, but in this instance, it's in his month. Both parents are gone. There's really nothing there that I would be concerned about. Mostly what we're looking at in the year of the dragon are people born in the day or the year of the dragon, or have the dragon in their career, which is the hour. So the dragon is fascinating because the dragon is yang earth. This feels like someone who has got their community around them. He has his support. He is confident and powerful in himself. And with that, he is taking on more responsibility. mention of his marriage, mention of travel and wealth. Not big, but there is mention. And this really feels like somebody that is taking themselves forward into new career opportunities and projects. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, be well.